Hey, what's going on? Ryan here with Intersection Records, talking about the 2023 Crossroads Guitar Festival this September. I think it's the 23rd and 24th in Los Angeles at the Crypto Arena, formerly known as the Staples Center. Anyway, this will be my third Crossroads Guitar Festival. I went to the one in Dallas in 2004 and 2010 in Chicago, and for me, it's kind of the holy grail of concerts and different collaborators and guitar players. Clapton, previous years, Jeff Beck and B.B. King and Buddy Guy and Santana and all these people, ZZ Top. This year is no exception. There's an incredible list of players and performers, and again, including Santana. I'm going to give you my wish list of collaborations and performers. Some of these guys have been invited, and then there's going to be some just dream settings here that I'm going to make some predictions or wishes. Starting off with Roger McGuinn. So Roger McGuinn is invited to the festival. He is a founding member of the Byrds. David Crosby just died in January. David Crosby from Los Angeles. Maybe we get a Byrds tribute. Maybe Chris Hillman shows up. He's not been invited, but maybe Chris Hillman shows up, plays some bass. Clapton joins in. McGuinn. Maybe David Crosby's son, Jeff Pevar, P-E-V-A-R. Maybe he plays some. Maybe Graham Nash shows up. There's a little Crosby, Stills, and Nash reunion. Maybe Neil Young shows up. Anyway, I came up with this list last weekend. I had a couple cocktails and sent my father-in-law, who's going with me, a text. And this was prior to knowing that Robbie Robertson had passed away. Robbie Robertson was invited to this festival, and Eric was a huge fan of the band. In fact, he showed up to the Big Pink House in Woodstock in 1968, hoping that they would ask him to join the band. This is after Cream and prior to Blind Faith. He shows up to Big Pink all dressed out in psychedelic garb with velvet pants on, and they're like in work clothes. And, Clapton, of course, goes on to do songs like Bell Bottom Blues, and the Layla, prior to Duane Allman getting hold of it, was an acoustic song, and it was definitely inspired by the band. Now that Robbie's passed away, rest in peace, I think we'll still have a band tribute in some capacity, whether they all play the weight. Is it possible that Garth Hudson, the only now surviving member of the original band, could he show up and play some keyboards? I don't know. Stephen Stills is playing the festival as well. We've already talked about Crosby and the Byrds. He was in Buffalo Springfield. Buffalo Springfield's an LA band. Could you have a little bit of a Buffalo Springfield revival? Chris Hillman, who we talked about before from the Byrds, he was in Manassas, a great early 70s spinoff of the side project for Steven with Al Perkins and Dallas Taylor, I think, was in that band, along with Chris Hillman and Stephen Stills. Listen to the song So Begins the Task off their first album. Such a good song. Could you have a CSN reunion with Clapton, Stills, and Nash? I don't know. Jeff Beck died this year, my hero. Eric was in the Yardbirds. Eric and Jeff were never in the Yardbirds at the same time. Could we get Yardbirds reunion? Could Jim McCarty, the original and only active member of the Yards, still playing other than Clapton? Could Jim McCarty play some drums for a little Yardbirds tribute? Could Jimmy Page show up on second guitar? I don't know. It'd be cool. Santana's playing. His band's from the Bay Area, of course, formed in 1968. After their second album, they added 15-year-old guitar player Neil Sean. Neil Sean plays on Santana 3 and Caravanserai. They're great records. When Eric was conceiving Derek and the Dominoes, he wanted to steal Neil Schon away from Santana. Instead, he got Dwayne Allman. I think that was a pretty good fallback plan. Could we have a Santana, Clapton, Neil Schon? Could Greg Raleigh show up from the original Santana band, sing some songs? Could Steve Perry show up now that Neil Schon's come, even though he's not been invited, but this is my dream? Could Steve Perry come and do a couple of songs? Don't Stop Believing. I don't know. John McLaughlin is playing the festival. I saw McLaughlin play the festival in 2004 with my brother Dennis, with Dennis Chambers on drums. It was incredible. John's famous for being the leader of seminal fusion band Mahavishnu Orchestra. He's British. He gave Jimmy Page guitar lessons in '62. When he comes to America, Miles Davis tracks him down, and they basically invent rock fusion, jazz fusion. Santana's already at the festival. He's a disciple of Miles first musically, but then his spiritual advisor is John McLaughlin. They both followed the Indian spiritual teacher named Chinmoy. Chinmoy gave John McLaughlin the name Mahavishnu and also gave Santana the name Devadeep, Carlos Santana, which he used on his albums as the name Devadeep in the 70s. Anyway, so McLaughlin's already there. Santana's already there. Drummer Narada, Michael Walden. Narada's played with Jeff Beck at the 2010 Crossroads Guitar Festival. He was also in Mahavishnu Orchestra. Narada the name was given to him by Chinmoy. Maybe he shows up. We have a Mahavishnu Orchestra reunion along with a Jam with Santana and a Love Supreme and Love Surrender Devotion reunion. These are just some of my ideas. Maybe Joni Mitchell shows up since she was part of the scene, right? Maybe Joni Mitchell shows up. She was part of the Laurel Canyon scene. Maybe Mickey Dolenz shows up and there's a Little Monkeys. Maybe Dweezil Zappa. All the guys from the Canyon. I know that Bob Dylan's son is going to be there. Maybe Beck shows up. If you watch that documentary, Echoes in the Canyon. These are just my predictions. Check out my channel. I do shows every single day. Subscribe if you like it. Thanks for supporting me. Peace out. Have a good weekend. We'll see you.